So in selling, I don't really find rapport that important. I mean, it can be, but I really find trust to be more important. You don't have a lot of time when you're selling. So coming in with the frame and backing it up with authority is really useful. Now, here's what's even more interesting. In hypnosis, authority is really helpful. If they see you as an authority, it's exceptionally helpful. Isn't that interesting? The question I have and have always had in a way is, well, if you're actually doing trance with someone, why is it so helpful? But I think what it is if it's quiet, unassuming authority, so to speak. In other words, not brash in your face. I'm ordering you to, like you will now go into a hypnotic trance. Well, if it's more quiet and unassuming, then what I think happens is they simply enter into a state of being led, which is really what a lot of the pacing and leading does that we've talked about before. They're simply entering into a place of being led. But let's go further. In trance, I find rapport itself to be useful, but in a special way, with the unconscious mind of the individual you are hypnotizing. Why? Well, I think it has resistance right from the get-go. I think that it doesn't want to change exactly. I think it's used to defending itself and pushing the person into where they are, and it thinks it's doing right. And so, who are you to come in and tell it that it's not? And in essence, if you think about it, this is exactly where we find ourselves when someone is coming to us to do an altered state session. They already know you're an expert, or they wouldn't have subjected themselves to that. But does their unconscious know? And you can go, well, Kenrick, and even I do this to myself sometimes. If their conscious mind knows, their unconscious mind knows, doesn't it? Not really. Not really. I don't think it does. I've come to the conclusion that a person can like you a lot personally, but their unconscious mind goes, now, wait a minute. This guy may be being nice to you or this gal or whatever, but they still want you to do something different. Who are they to tell you what to do? All right, let's assume that's true. And I have no evidence to believe it's not, and lots of evidence to believe that it is. If we accept that's true, then we need to gain rapport with the unconscious mind. And that really doesn't start by ordering people around and suggesting that, in essence, you're wrong. You're doing it wrong, so you have to come to an expert like me to get your shit together.